Welcome to the Gospel Road. We're going to look at Ephesians 4 today. It says, I, therefore, a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace. There is only one body, one Spirit, just as you are called to the one hope that belongs to your call. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all, through all, and in all. But grace was given to each of us according to the measure of Christ's gift. Therefore it says, when he ascended on high, he led a host of captives, and he gave gifts to men. Now, in saying he ascended, what does it mean that he had also descended into the lower regions, the earth? He also descended into, he who descended is the one who also ascended from above all the heavens, that he might fill all things. And he gave the apostles, the prophets, evangelists, shepherds, teachers to equip the saints for the work of ministry, for building up the body of Christ until we all attain the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to mature manhood, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, so that we may no longer be children, tossed to and fro by the waves and carried about by every wind of doctrine, by human cunning, by craftiness and deceitful schemes. Rather, speaking the truth in love, we are to grow up in every way into him who is the head, into Christ, from whom the whole body, joined and held together by every joint with which it is equipped, when each part is working properly, makes the body grow so that it builds itself up in love. Now this is, I say, and testify in the Lord, that you must no longer walk as the Gentiles do in the futility of their minds. They are darkened in their understanding, alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to their hardness of heart. They have become callous and have given themselves up to sensuality, greedy to practice every kind of impurity. But that is not the way you learn Christ. Assuming that you have heard about him and were taught in him, as the truth is in Jesus, to put off your old self, which belongs to your former manner of life and is corrupt through the deceitful desires, and to be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. Therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, and give no opportunity to the devil. Let the thief no longer steal, but rather let him labor, doing honest work with his own hands, so that he may have something to share with anyone in need. Let no corrupt talk come out of your mouth. Be only such as is good for building up as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear. And do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as God forgave you, as God in Christ forgave you. Ephesians 4. That's what we are looking at today. And this was a rough week. Rough week for me. rough week for, you could say, the world in general, people in general. We lost another celebrity to suicide, so now mental health has been a very common theme for this past week. And there was something that was shared, that I shared on a video that I did earlier this week of a great poem that said a lot and meant a lot. You know, it says, "Let all bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, and slander be put away from you, along with all malice, and be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another." By no means is it easy. I mean, I fail. Not only do I fail, I have failed people my entire life. I guess not entire. When I was really young, I wasn't failing people too much, but as I was getting older, but I know when I was reading the poem this week, it really kind of triggered me, because I know I've shared it before, and I have my struggles every day, and it's been a rough couple weeks for me of stuff going through my head. And then I've been sharing some things, and then yesterday, out a blast from my past starts really digging into me because it's something I shared. Basically said that I had no right, or karma has now come to bite me in the rear. I'm finally getting what I deserve. I mean, you know, fill in the blank here, and then just let it hit. I know people have issues that they deal with. We all do. And mental health is very important. I mean, we talk about it. I've talked about it all the years I've been doing this, about really being healthy, body, mind, and soul. You know, keeping that mind healthy, working on your body to keep it healthy, because that'll help your mind be healthy. And then your soul, your spirit, you know, dealing with your beliefs and where you're going, keeping that healthy as well, really feeding into that. Learning something new every day, reading something every day, but remembering to love others and to treat them with kindness. And respect. Now, everyone's going to give different definitions of those and what that means, but you never know what anyone's going through. And that's kind of where these come from, is that we just have these little conversations of how we're able to help people be the best that they can be, and really encourage them and love them. You have a friend that I'm really trying to help and walk them through something that they're going through right now, and I know they're struggling, and they really do not know what is going on, and they don't know what to do. And I feel for them. But we just keep trying, and we keep pushing forward. You think you're doing well, and then, you know, all of a sudden, boom, you get a gut punch from somebody that just wants to tear you down, wants you to feel like crap. And it doesn't matter if it's a spouse, if it is a significant other, if it's a coworker, if it's a boss. You know, one thing I remember that we shared, and it says that people have to pretend you are bad so they do not feel guilty in how they treat you. So they've got to pretend you're a bad person, even if you're not a bad person. So that way, they're not feeling guilty when they're walking all over you and just doing whatever, holding you back from your promotion. I know I've heard this so many times because you go in for your review. Your review is based on what your raise is going to be, and they tell you how you are so great that you are a 10, but, it's not in the budget to be able to give you a raise like that, so we're only going to give you a 5 because this is the raise that we can give you. Wow. I mean, that's like permanent record stuff. That goes on there, and it's not going to go away. Well, why were you only a 5? Well, no, they said that I was so much better, but they could only do that because that's the only raise I could get. Well, it's not like they're putting notes on it to say that's exactly what it was. No, they're just saying that they were a 5. They're okay. They're getting the work done, doing what needs to be done. It's okay. And that's the world that we live in. That's the people that we are dealing with in every part of our lives. And it makes it really hard. And people are fighting the voices, the demons every day. But how do you deal with that? One of the videos, I labeled it Suicide is Painless, which was the song that they use. It's the MASH theme. But the thing is, suicide is not painless. It might be painless to the person that did it, but it's not painless to those that they left behind that now have to pick up the pieces of them leaving. But at the same time, they were certainly not painless leading up to that time to say, I'm done. They were going through some pain, some deep pain. I will say I've had tears flowing this week, even to the point that I kind of stood up for myself a little bit this past week as well. Another thing that I shared about doing something, but, not really sure. I finally did it, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. Sometimes when you do end up standing up for yourself, you don't feel good when you do it. You don't know that you were right to do that. And you now have that inner struggle with, wow, should I have done that? Because then you can upset somebody. And I know for me, I'm not trying to upset anybody. And that's probably maybe some of my problem. I'm just trying to make everybody happy in some way, shape, or form. But then I end up failing at that. I mean, being in a room with someone and still feeling lonely, that's rough. Being in a relationship and still feeling lonely, it's rough. Not feeling like you are important, it's rough. Because that's how I feel. But then my problem is because that's how I feel, then a lot of times I end up making others feel the exact same way because I'm too busy trying to deal with me. And, it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious circle. It just goes round and round and round and round. Where it stops, nobody knows. Will it be on the Joker? Will it be on the hammer? It's like watching Wheel of Fortune. Come on! Trip. Whatever it is. No bankrupt. No bankrupt. All right. But then you end up bankrupt. Emotionally bankrupt. I mean, my heart this week has just been, it just feels like a hole. It hurts. And then things happen around us. And I mean, I saw that, and along with, when they were talking about the DJ that Twitch that went, they also had pictures in there with, Robin Williams and, Anthony Bourdain, others that had committed suicide. I mean, that even goes back. This isn't new. I mean, even George Reeves played the TV Superman. The guy from Hogan's Heroes. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. Which means there's people feeling lonely out there and going through battles that we don't really understand and we're not sure why. Which is why we need to treat everyone with kindness. Why we need to smile when you open the door for them. Just make them feel, because that smile for them could turn that day around for them. Thank you could turn that day around for them. Just, we need to remember that, to be kind, to be tender-hearted. I'm not always tender-hearted. But to just let the bitterness, the wrath, and the anger, and the clamor, and the slander, just let it go. Just let it go away. And be the best that you can be. Not trying to tear someone down so you can get that promotion and keep somebody else behind. No. Maybe they deserve the promotion just as much as you do. Sorry. It's competition. We aren't handing out participation trophies here. Not everybody wins. That's the unfortunate part of the world that we're in that nobody understands because, well, people today don't understand. You know, after my generation, they started handing out participation trophies, so everybody wins. No. Unfortunately, in our world, not everybody wins. And even since the pandemic and other things, they're talking about how suicide rates are going up. Well, when you've been basically not really teaching people how to deal with life, yeah, because they get in the real world and, oh, this is terrible. I don't want to deal with this. It's not the way it is. Be kind, love one another, be the best that we can be, to help others be the best that they can be. I'm praying for you. I hope you're praying for me. You need to talk to somebody, find somebody to talk to. Friend, family member. Maybe you're at the coffee shop and I'm not saying you got to talk personal. Maybe just the person sitting next to you. Just have a great conversation about how good the coffee is. Maybe the weather. How cold it is. Can you believe that we live in the Midwest? It's just freezing. Kind of is right now. And snow. Ephesians 4. Read that. How does it help you do better, to be better? Read that today. I appreciate you for listening, and I appreciate you. And remember, things will be better. Things will change. Yes, people are going to be mean and cruel and do anything that they can to hold you back, because if you finally get something out of your mind and then, surprise, here it comes again. People are that way. But you don't have to be. Hold your head up. Smile. Be the best that you can be. You know, the Army, be all you can be. Air Force, aim high. Remember all those when I was a kid, the TV commercials. But it's true. Be all that you can be and always be aiming higher. You know, as Casey Kasem always say, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Yeah. Hope, we have it. Hope is there. Love is there. Even when people are not sharing that and they're trying to break you and take that away. And I say a lot of this because I have to remind myself that. Like I always say, I don't tell people how to do things or why they should do it a certain way because I'm telling them to do it that way. I'm saying, I've messed it up and this is what's going to happen. It's all from my failures, and I'm trying to say, hey, don't make the same failure. Don't do the same thing. Don't do the same thing. Do whatever you can. Find a great saying. Write it down. Stick it up on a wall. You know, on your phone. Make it your wallpaper. Your screensaver. But just be good. Be kind to one another. Because you have no idea what they're going through, or what they're dealing with. Like this person who decides to come out and just start railing on me. They have no idea what the last 2 years has been like for me. They don't know what I'm doing. They don't know what's going on. They have no idea. I've said before, everybody had their 2020, and I'll be honest, my 2022 is my 2020. So for me, I actually got a 2020 part due. Yeah. But I'm doing my best to really keep going. You should too. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, Ephesians 4, read that for yourself. If you enjoyed this, share it with others. You could do that on social media, as well as finding me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Yeah, TikTok. My buddy Jimmy, mybuddyjimmy.com. Also, the platform you're listening, please give me a rating. That's always appreciated. Thank you so much. And I know people have really been picking up their likes and listens, not just with the podcast, but with the other stuff that I've been doing with my words of the day. And I know the couple videos, if you haven't had a chance to go check them out, they're on YouTube. You can find them there, and they're even on my website too. And you can find them there as well and be able to watch them. But thank you so much for listening. And I guess we could say, I don't know if I could say same bat time, same bat channel, because I don't know that I always put these up at the exact same time, and they're more of on demand. You can listen whenever you want. But it would be the same channel. Yes, that would be true. All right, Ephesians 4, read that today. Thank you so much for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless.
Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com.
If you're looking for help with software, app, web development, be sure to check out my friends at ingenuitycompany.com. They believe in their clients. Software development, app development, web development, visioning, design thinking, diagramming, organizational development, strategy. They can help you at the Ingenuity Company. Find out more at ingenuitycompany.com. Barbecue provided by Kenny's Rib Wagon, catering ribs for your pleasure and serving daily at Plaza Pub, 62nd and Douglas in Des Moines, across from Merle Hay Mall. Find Kenny's Rib Wagon on Facebook.
The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.